Recoil or Hyanka? Which do I choose, and how do they compare to other audio companies? Stay tuned and find out. Guys, welcome back to Horseplay Motoring. So this is going to wrap up my audio week. I will be back to Mustang content next week. There's not a lot of love for the truck and the audio, but I'm still going to do this because this is something that I have a passion for, and who knows, some people that's in the audio world or trying to step into the audio world might find helpful. Disclaimer before I start, I am not a audiophile. I'm not a bass head technically or anything like that. I just started getting into bass, and I just wanted to share some things. So you may have recently seen in my previous video that I upgraded from a Recoil sub to the Hyanka sub. I wanted to give a breakdown of the Recoil and the Hyanka and the pros and cons and stuff like that, because you might not need something of that magnitude. I'm going to put some things up on the screen, and we're going to discuss price points and what you get for the price. So first, the Hyanka sub. It is $79.99 right currently on Amazon for the sub that I have, which is the 10-inch 4-ohm dual voice coil. For that price, you get a Gravity 1K rated sub for $80. The sub has a stamped basket and a glued surround, unlike the stitch surround. That's where the surround is stitched to the cone that the Hyanka has. The Hyanka weighed in at over 18 pounds. The Gravity 1K rated, and I use rated, in quotations, it only weighs 8 pounds. So there's like no heft to it, no nothing. What about some of the better brands? Okay, let's get into the everybody's seemed to go to favorite back in the day, Kicker. So for Kicker's Comp R10 is 400 watts RMS, 800 peak. It does weigh 13 pounds, and it has a stitch surround, but it still has a stamped basket, and it costs $127.96. Now, at this price point for a quality sub, that does get you into the Scar budget series. Okay, they have the SDR, they have the SVR, they have the ZV is like a 95 pound sub. So when I say something like the Hyanka is middle of the playing field pretty much, it's because audio goes from like $15 up to $700, $800, $900 for subs. So I'm sure they cost more than that. There's some Neo magnet subs and stuff like that now. It's crazy. But the Scar budget series, the SDR, the 4-ohm 10 is rated at 1200 watts. It's still a stamped basket. Okay, it weighs 16.8 pounds, but it also has a glued surround. Like I've said, it's not very common for them to come unglued, but they do come unglued. Sorry about that, I had to move. The sun decided that the wrath of heavens was going to come out and scorch the side of my face. Regardless, okay, we was on the Scar, the budget series. It has a glued surround, it has a stamped basket, it does have push terminals and stuff like that, but for what you get for the Scar, it's around the same price. The Hyanka has better qualities. It don't have a stamped basket, and it has a stitch surround, so it's still, to me, it's still better than a Scar SDR series. The Recoil sub is $37.99. So less than $40, you get a 500 watt sub, and I believe it'll do every bit of 500. It does have a stamped basket. It's got a 2-inch voice coil. It's got the push terminals, and it's got the surround stitched to the cone. Good quality, entry level subwoofer. But let's take a look at what it compares to. And here we go to the everybody's favorite, the kicker. The kicker Comp C is 500 watts. It's over $93 currently going, and it's a single voice coil. While it is a single voice coil, it does have a stitched surround, but it's also a stamped basket. So you're kind of on the same level field there, but the single voice coil at a higher price is not always what you need. So the Rockford Fosgate, they have a entry-level sub. It is $89.99. It is 500 watts. It has a glued surround, and it's a stamped basket, and it has it does have push terminals, but it's also $50 or $52 price difference. So we talked about pretty much, or I've talked about how much I like the Hyanka sub, and I think it compares great. I think Recoil for the price compares great. The one thing I think Recoil has is its amp, and I think it compares great. So their amp is currently going for $74.99 for the amp that I have, the DI601. Okay, this is a 2 ohm stable, 600 watt RMS at 2 ohms. It has a 1200 watt max with a remote. Now let's take a look at what you get at that price point. Well, not much. Even the Boss, okay, the Boss Riot is a 1200 watt rated sub, rated. It is 400 watt RMS. It will not do that. I just watched an amp dyno, okay, and it at max it put out 250 something watts, and it's rated at 1200. That is ridiculous. The price, $144.95. Not making this up, it's right here on the screen. Next, let's look at old school favorite, MTX. MTX makes good stuff. The MTX amp, 500 watts RMS at 2 ohms, which is less than what the Recoil does. It costs $148. Now let's go to the Harmony amp. Okay, Harmony makes good stuff. This is 300 watts RMS, 600 watts peak at 2 ohms, 400 RMS, 800 watts peaks at 1 ohm. So it is a 1 ohm stable amp, but it costs $109.95. That is $34.96, almost $35 more than the Recoil amp, who does more. It does what it's rated, and it does more, and it's cheaper. So the bottom line, Hyanka versus Recoil, because these two companies sponsor me, and I'm using products of both of theirs. And what do I like? Well, here's the deal. Hyanka obviously has a better sub. That's no doubt about it. They got a little bit higher in the playing field than Recoil, but at the same price point, you can get 2 of them Recoil subs for the price of 1 Hyanka. You might not be looking for a single tin of that magnitude. You might be looking for 2 tins to fill a box that you have laying around, or you got a truck box that's made for 2 tins. These Recoil subs are going to be amazing. If you just want good bass at a good price, the Hyanka sub's going to be it. But Hyanka does not offer an amplifier, and that's where Recoil, I believe, really shines. They have several great options. They have great wiring kits. Their wiring kits are phenomenal, and it's true copper. It's none of this tin stuff. It is quality stuff for the price, and it's very hard to beat. So at the end of the day, Hyanka sub, Recoil amp, but both for their price points and what they're made to do, I don't think you can go wrong with either one. Like I've said, I've showed you the price points where Recoil is better at their budget subs than a lot of these things. Now, I do want to state, Recoil is not new to the game, okay? Recoil is owned by a guy that I guess used to work with Lightning Audio, and from what I understand, I haven't done my research, so I apologize if this is wrong, but Lightning Audio was a branch of Rockford Fosgate. I do not know if that's true or not, but regardless, the guy had experience at Lightning Audio and took this and started his own company. So they have been great to me. They have great products. I don't want it to seem like I'm overshadowing them because the Hyanka sub. So basically, you can't compare the two on anything other than them doing what they're designed to do. And Recoil hit their mark, Hyanka hit their mark, and you got to decide for yourself what you need, what is best for your setup. And that's all there is to it. I mean, you're not gonna build a super high compression engine that's, you know, 15 to 1 and then throw boost on top of it. You're gonna build a lower compression engine, put boost on top of it. You want to make sure that your amp is not going to outpower your sub, that your box specs are good. Everything goes hand in hand. So it's about what fits your application. You might not need crazy bass. You might have a factory system that has a factory 10 that went out and you just want to replace it. There's some Recoil is probably the best option of that. I set up most of the night comparing stuff, and for the price that you pay for what you get for the Hyanka sub, I would put that against Scar or anybody. RobotUnderground, he calls the Hyanka the half price P3, and actually it's less than half the price because the P3 sub is $200 and the Hyanka is $80, so it's less than half price. But it's like one of the go-to subs that really perform, and this sub, the Hyanka sub, really performs, and it's half the price. So again, take it what you will, but Recoil and Hyanka are really they're really throwing some wrenches in a lot of audio game for budget beginners. Are they going to be out here competing with Terra amps and their 8,000 watt amplifier, and these they're not out here with the Scar ZV series with 95-pound magnets that are just massive. But for entry-level bass, you're not going to find much better options if you do find a better option. So I hope this helps. I know some of y'all are tired of the audio content. I didn't really start this channel to please people. I started this channel to help people, so hopefully this helps somebody. And I can't thank y'all enough for the people who are watching. And like I said, hopefully this will help and clear up some things, because I've had people ask, you know, I have 2 different audio companies, and how am I doing that, and things of that sort, because people think that you can't have 2 different companies and like both of them. You got to pick one or the other, but that's not the case. But thank you for watching. This is Horseplay. We out.
Turn around, I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with the 16 bars, I won't turn around. I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with the 16 bars, I won't turn around. I won't turn around. No matter how far I go, I'll never